Opening credits. Ava and Carol Detective Agency. The Mystery of Solomon's Ring. Chapter 6. Michael the Archangel. Carol grabbed her tablet from her backpack and web-searched hexagram ring. Carol sighed. There were hundreds of results, mostly dealing with the occult.
Ava, I don't know how much we're going to find using the power of Google.
Ava crouched to peek over her shoulder.
I'll help. Sometimes 4 eyes are better than 2.
After about 5 pages of scanning results, something caught Ava's eye.
Wait, click that. I don't know if that has anything to do with what we're looking for, Ava, Carol said doubtfully.
I'm not talking about the kitten playing with yarn on a hexagram, she said. Her index finger pointed at the tablet screen.
That one.
Carol clicked it, and a new page came up. She raised an eyebrow.
Solomon's Ring. Sounds biblical.
Maybe Luca is actually Harrison Ford. Does it say directed by Steven Spielberg? Carol shook her head and began to read aloud.
No, listen. God gave King Solomon a ring that had magical powers to control and entrap demons. The ring was made of brass and iron. There were 2 pieces, and when they were placed together, the wearer would have incredible power over the spirit world. The 4 jewels gave Solomon power over spirits, animals, wind, and water. The 4 red jewels signify the power over these 4 realms. The ring is said to be part of Solomon's secret treasure, which many believe today has been moved from hiding place to hiding place across the globe, hidden and protected by an ancient secret society of warrior priests, bound to protect the ring and powerful artifacts from falling into the wrong hands. Many men have died in their attempts to find or steal the treasure.
Ava stared wide-eyed at Carol.
Wait a second. That sounds like our old man. He definitely wouldn't go down without a fight, and he risked his life for that ring.
She leaned back and crossed her arms, exhaling slowly.
Do you think that the old man was a warrior priest? It's possible, isn't it? She responded. Something made him trust you in an instant, so we know he wasn't making rational decisions, smiled Carol. Think about it. I mean, I don't believe in all of the magical fantasy stuff, but what if it is real? Like in that Raiders of the Lost Ark movie? What if this ring actually gave the wearer magical powers? I mean, those are grown men, and they're willing to beat and kidnap an old man for something that looks like an old piece of junk jewelry.
I think we have our answer then, Ava said. Carol nodded solemnly and met her friend's eyes.
For now, we've got to protect this ring until we find out what's really going on.
Mrs. Clark texted the girls that she would not be back for lunch. Ava desperately wanted to go outside and breathe some fresh air and go to an outside cafe, but Carol insisted that it would be much too dangerous, and Ava had to agree this time that Carol was right. As Carol continued to comb through the internet, looking for information to tie the ring, Luca, and the strange symbol together, Ava ordered a large spaghetti and meatball entree and a half loaf of bread.
We need a murder board, said Carol decidedly.
A what?
A murder board. You know, like on the detective shows where they put all of their clues on a board on the wall and then figure out how they all tie together.
Oh, that would be awesome, but Ava's thought was cut off by a knock at the door. Wow, that's some really fast room service.
Wait,
whispered Carol.
Look through the peephole to see who it is.
Good idea, whispered Ava as she tiptoed to the door. She peered through a small peephole. She could see the top half of a 20-something-year-old woman with a cute little hat. It's okay. It's a hotel woman. Ava opened the door slowly, leaving the chain hooked. Hello, smiled Ava, looking around the woman for a cart or steaming hot tray of food.
Madame, a gift has arrived. The woman left it at the front desk and asked that I deliver it personally. Miss Ava Clark.
Oh. Ava cleared her throat and stared suspiciously at the small gift bag in the woman's hand. I wasn't expecting anything. Who is it from? The young woman glanced down at the bag.
I'm not sure, madam. She said it was important.
Ava paused a moment and unclasped the chain. Okay, thank you very much, said Ava, accepting the bag from the woman. Oh, how thoughtless of me. One moment, please. Ava raced across the hotel room and grabbed her purse, retrieving a shiny quarter. Here you go, she said, smiling broadly as she placed the quarter into the palm of the woman's hand. Have a wonderful day. Ava abruptly shut the door and turned her attention back to Carol. Wow, said Carol, shaking her head. You truly are out of touch with reality. Ava ignored her comment, too eager to explore the contents of the mysterious bag. Reaching in, she pulled out a small paper book, held together with a stapled binding. A handwritten note was attached to the cover. Who's it from? Carol asked. Ava studied the note while shaking her head. It's from Signora Coppola, from the bookstore. And whoa, is her spelling horrible. I can barely read this. She handed the note to Carol. See what I mean? Oh, she's thanking us for our help, she said, a small smile starting in the corner of her mouth. She's Italian, Ava. She did her best to write this in English so we can understand it. So, prompted Ava. She said she found the book on the night of the robbery and thought that we might have dropped it because it is an old tourist guidebook from a place called La Villa de Cathedral. She also wishes us well and, of course, to be careful. Ava and Carol turned their attention to the book. On the cover was a picture of a beautiful statue of Saint Michael the Archangel, wings arched with robes cascading down from where he stood. His face was solemn, but his eyes drew Ava in, making her study his face. Humming to herself, she turned the book over. The binding around the spine was falling apart just a bit, as old books do, and based on how soft and yellow with age the pages were, Ava was sure it was a pretty old book. She was about to dive into the book with Carol when a sharp knock-knock on their door made the girls jump. "Room service," a man's voice sang out, trilling the R's. The girls had been so excited about getting the package, they'd forgotten about lunch. Ava walked quietly to the door, leaned forward, and looked through the peephole. The man's face looked long and distorted through the lens. Ava could see the corner of a cart draped in a white cloth, as well as a collection of silver serving dishes. She turned to Carol and gave her the thumbs up. The man smiled at the girls and quickly backed into the room, pulling his cart with him. Carol thought it was ironic that the man who served the food was exceptionally thin. Ava liked him because of his rebellious tie clip, a monkey with green eyes, and pants that were at least 2 inches short, showing off mismatched zebra-striped and leopard-spotted socks. Asking for permission, The man swiftly cleared the small table in their room, placing the newspaper and Carol's tablet onto the couch like they were priceless jewels worth millions of dollars. Ava and Carol oohed and ahed as he stepped back from the table. Each girl had a heaping plate of spaghetti, with 2 meatballs and freshly ground Parmesan cheese in a small glass bowl. With the waiter in attendance throughout their meal, they each had a salad, a bowl with olive oil and herbs, 2 pieces of bread, and a glass of Pellegrino sparkling water. In the center of the table, he had placed a small white vase filled with a bouquet of colorful flowers. Ava clapped, completely overwhelmed by the artistry, and for the first time in her life, she reached into her purse and gave the man 2 shiny quarters. The man left, wondering if it had been his presentation or the socks that resulted in the tiny tip. Ava closed her eyes, breathing in the delectable cacophony of flavors. She looked up at Carol, who was busy doing something on her tablet. "How can you possibly be on your tablet at a time like this?" Suddenly, Ava felt her phone buzz in her back pocket. She grabbed her phone, thinking it would most likely be her mother. Instead, it was a text from Carol. "You have been gifted Tipping for Dummies from Carol Miller." Funny. Quarters are not a joke. People appreciate the weighty feel of a nice shiny coin in their pocket.
Mm-hmm,
said Carol, as she grabbed the book and began casually flipping through the pages, not really expecting to find anything.
"This book is really old,"
she said, dipping her bread into an olive oil and fresh herb mix. She checked inside the cover to see if anyone had written their name or any notes, but she didn't find anything. The book was text-heavy, with some photos, but something made Carol suddenly inhale sharply.
"Ava, look!"
Her finger traced across the soft, worn paper until it reached a small symbol printed at the middle of the page. Under it was a small block of text. Carol couldn't make out all of the words, but she could understand "Simbolo di San Michele."
"Symbol of Saint Michael,"
she whispered. She pointed excitedly to the picture on the next page of the sculpture.
"Ava,"
she started.
"Ava, oh my gosh! I think we may have just found Luca."
"Wait, what?" exclaimed Ava. "What do you mean?"
"Look,"
said Carol, tapping a small block of text. Ava leaned in closer. Beneath the sculpture were the words, "Villa de Cathedral, Michele Arcangelo, 1465, by Luca degli Robbia."
"The sculptor's name is Luca,"
said Carol excitedly. "Only one problem," said Ava, shaking her head. "He's probably dead by now." Carol closed her eyes for a moment and exhaled.
"Of course he's dead. He would be like 600 years old. When the old man said, 'Find Luca,' maybe this is what he meant. The symbol that we found is for Michael the Archangel. The artist Luca," she paused while she read his name, "Robbia, created the sculpture. All of these things can't be coincidental."
Ava flattened out the book on the table. "There is something written in the margin." She pulled the page out flat. Scrawled into the margin of the page were the words, "Sblocca lo scroll." "Okay," said Ava, tilting her head. "Any idea what sblocca lo scroll means?"
"Well, obviously it has something to do with a scroll. Give me a second."
Carol grabbed her tablet and searched the word sblocca.
"Ah,"
she said, nodding.
"It comes from sbloccare, and it means to unlock."
"So, Unlock, whispered Ava enthusiastically. Unlock the scroll.
Carol, which scroll are they talking about?
Carol held the book close, squinting one eye. The book was old and the pictures gray and faded, but she could just make out what looked like a scroll in St. Michael's left hand.
It looks like St. Michael is either holding a scroll or a paper towel holder.
Ava grabbed the book from Carol and examined the picture.
Or one of those big pepper shakers that they have at fancy restaurants. I'm going with scroll, though. One problem. How do we find this statue? We're in Italy. Everywhere you look, there's a statue. They even have statues of statues,
moaned Ava.
The Villa de Cathedral. The statue is located at the Villa de Cathedral.
Ava's phone jumped to life, gyrating across the table.
One sec,
said Ava, holding up a finger to Carol.
It's my mom.
Carol busied herself on her tablet, looking for the best route to take from the hotel to the Villa de Cathedral. Thankfully, the cathedral was only a few blocks from the hotel, and the street was lined with dozens of small stores, which meant lots of people and hopefully safety.
Mom's on her way,
said Ava, placing her phone on the table.
She warned us to stay in the room. She said that a conference attendee said that there had been a crazy man in the hotel lobby earlier, wielding a fire extinguisher.
Carol snorted.
He sounds dangerous. I think your mom's right. We'd better stay put.
I'm sure everything will be okay, winked Ava. I hear Inspector Rossi is on the case.
Oh, laughed Carol. In that case, I just have one thing to say. Pants!
If you're enjoying Thomas Lockhaven's audiobook content, please like and subscribe. It's the best way to help out the channel.